Hello and welcome to this episode of MindMeld, where we try and help you move up in life and not just on with it. My wonderful and amazing guest today is Tom Lightning from Amsterdam. He's a professional speaker, he's a global speaker, and he's traveled all around the world. He's been a speaker now for 26 years, and his main purpose is to go around and teach people how to disrupt themselves and have fun doing it. Tom, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of MindMeld.
Thank you for asking me.
Disrupt yourself. What does that mean? Isn't disruption dangerous?
It can be, of course. Well, it doesn't mean if you disrupt yourself that you stop thinking or do crazy things or whatever. I mean, you could find a pattern in doing it. Actually, it's about, get lost of the feeling how you always did it and find new ways to do it. And what better time to use that pattern right now after Corona, or well, actually in middle of the Corona crisis.
Yeah, but that's a good point, because right now this is Disruptionland, right? Even your T-shirt says "Welcome to Disruptionland."
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah, but also now I can see why, if you can teach people how to deal with disruption and how to disrupt yourself, right? It means that you're far more prepared to deal with uncertainty and disruption when it happens.
Yeah, well, let's first talk briefly about, I mean, a lot of people have a sort of negative angle when they heard the word disruption. And of course, it is a bit of a buzzword, and every startup uses it, and every product with a new button on it says, well, we are disruptive. And I'm not going into the definition, because I don't think that's important. What important is the outcome of it. So, I mean, you can call it differently. You can call it, let's do it just another way. Let's find new opportunities. I mean, the word opportunity is nice. So if you hate the word disruption, use the word opportunity, because It's all about the process that you're doing something new, something to surprise yourself. And if you surprise yourself and it goes well, you also get sort of energy out of it. And that's not only energy in life and in work, but it's also creative energy, because you start believing in something that you didn't do yet. And that is the most important thing of disrupt yourself, is to find areas where you've not have been, but something you can create there that will bring you further.
Isn't that what team building also is really all about, isn't it? When you come together as a new team, and you have to test your boundaries and your limits and see where you can find opportunities in that team, in that situation. And that's why when we do team building, you disrupt the people. You constantly you interrupt and disrupt, and because of that, they find new opportunities, they find new ways of doing things.
Of course, but I mean, that's a whole range of opportunities, disruption, whatever. It's personal disruption. I also talk a lot about how to disrupt yourself. So that's all the inner circle thing you've got to deal with. But like you said, the most important thing, if you work in companies, it's about teamwork. And then you sometimes have to say to yourself, oh, I don't like this girl. I don't like this guy, the way he talks, the way he moves. But then you can disrupt yourself. Well, let's put aside all those angry feelings, and let's honestly have a look at what he is saying. Because maybe you don't like somebody because he's too outgoing, or too, there can be very small things that you don't like somebody. But what he says, what he thinks, can be worthful. And that is one of the most important things, how to disrupt yourself. It's like, you have to cross boundaries to believe in other people before you make judgments, because that's the only way you can go to the next level.
That's so true, because also you don't need to agree with someone else's opinion, but you can accept that it is a difference of opinion, right? And you can still work with it.
I would even say, if you have a team, it is very important to have disagreements, and very important that people don't like you. Because, I mean, let's say you're in a team and you're sitting there and you take your first page. Oh, I have an idea. Yeah, what is it? Well, I thought, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, yeah, Tom. Oh, yeah, we love it. I mean, you would have a great day. You think, you go home, you say, oh, everybody loved me, and I had such a great idea. But maybe the idea is totally BS, because it's not really creative. It's just something you made up, and it can be good. But my point is, please find people you don't like. Please find people you're not used working with. Maybe youngsters, maybe somebody who's 30 years older, maybe somebody from the street. I don't know, but find somebody that you can find a different angle, a different perspective, and that's how you widen your thoughts to be creative.
Creativity is all about shifting your paradigm, shifting your personal viewpoint, your company's viewpoint, the things that you thought you knew, right? And once we do that, we can find better questions to ask. And that's where because answers are easy, right? Answers, you can come up with a bunch of answers for all kinds of things, but coming up with the right kind of question, it needs that bit of disruption. It needs that sort of like that pain point.
The point is, like you said, answers are easy to find. Creativity is actually nothing more than combining two answers you already had to create something new of two answers or three you already knew. So a lot of people are afraid of, I am not creative. That's nonsense. Everybody's creative, but you have to find two different dots and bring them together, and then you create something new. And it can be disruptive, it can be creative, it can be something new. But I mean, forget all the names. Think about the process and the outcome. With creativity, you already know it, but you have to find it, and therefore you have to dig deeper. That is something what I said in my keynote speech. You have to dig deeper because all the easy answers, you've been there, and all the easy answers everybody else knows, and all the easy answers are on Google. So if you want a solution, you Google it. Of course, it will be a solution. But if you want to stand out, if you want to be better, if you want to beat the competition, you've got to be above it, and therefore you've got to dig deeper.
That's right, because I say, even in my workshops, I tell people, if you start thinking the same thing as everybody else, you end up the same place as everybody else, which is also nowhere.
Sometimes that's good. I mean, when the weather is beautiful and you want to go to the beach and a lot of people are over there, I mean, you can have a great day. So that's not even bad. But we're talking about business. We're talking about personal disruption. We're talking about if you want to change the world, big or small, then you have to be disruptive and go to places where nobody else goes.
And you need to be brave, right? You need to be willing to disrupt yourself, to take that challenge on, because it's scary. It's scary to be the first one doing something new. And I think it takes a certain kind of bravery, because you don't know where it's going, right? But if you don't try, you don't succeed either. You don't succeed. And but this, so people have this misconception about creativity. They think it's, they associate it more with art or dance or music, but creativity is nothing more than how you think, and changing from being taught what to think into engaging in how to think, how to come up with better questions, how to combine things, how to substitute one thing for another, how to reverse the outcome, whatever, right? There's many different ways.
Yeah.
And one of the easiest things is to just take two things that you already know, combine them, and put your own perspective into it. You'd love doing videos. Like, you do so many videos. It's actually crazy. When you were in Namibia, you got this big bag and it was just video equipment.
That's
Have
right.
you always been so interested in doing video? It's just been a recent development.
Well, yeah, I think maybe I was, but it's also because the technology is now, it is here. And, you can buy stuff now for $500 or $200 or $600, whatever, that, I mean, 10 years, 15 years ago, that was not even possible as a consumer or as a speaker to buy. I mean, what you've seen in Namibia, I had a bag with 3 cameras and a switch panel, and I could do live interviews and do the changing of the cameras on the spot. I mean, it was a mobile studio. But that was something I made up. And then I said, oh yeah, I have those cameras, I've got my studio. I would like to have a switch panel. And then Google is great, because, I mean, they will show you stuff and you can be creative with what you find. But don't let Google or the internet tell you the answers.
Yes.
Just find snippets and then combine them, and then suddenly you have something that nobody else is doing. And that's what makes you unique, and that's why people book you, or people talk about you.
Because you're bringing something different to the table than everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
If everybody dresses the same, speaks the same, speaks on the same topic the same way, right? It's boring and it's stale, and it doesn't provide anything new or exciting for the audience. So why should an event organizer book you, right? If you're not bringing anything new to the table, if you're not bringing anything, at least not new, but in a new way, in a new view.
That's what it is. And sometimes you have to, do strange things, and I use a sort of catapult on stage.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think, is it right what I'm doing? And sometimes I love it, and sometimes I hate it. But that is also a part of the creative process, because there is not one outcome. There's not one answer. There is not, we should do it like this. That's the dull way. That's what everybody's doing. So you've got to prepare. I mean, if people are watching this, that if you make something creative, or if you think of something strange, that it can go wrong, or you have to adjust it. But it will bring you on the path of creativity, and that you do it different than other people. And it can go wrong, because, I mean, there are a lot of artists out there who thought of things 30 years ago and people were not ready for it. Paintings or music or whatever. And suddenly 10 years later, somebody picks it up and becomes a multimillionaire. That is okay. That's awesome. That is, nobody wants that. But you can be proud of yourself when you create something that maybe 10 years later, you're sitting on your small balcony and said, oh man, everybody is doing and loving what I thought of 10 years ago. I mean, that proud can be more worth than 1 million.
It's so true, but also you need to do something with, there's so many ideas floating around, right? And everybody says, oh, I could have thought of that. It always seems easy on the back end when everything's done and successful, all kinds of things. And then people say to me, it's like, oh, but that's stupid. I could have done that. I could have thought of that. It's like, yes, but the point is you didn't, right? The point is that even if you did think of it, you sat on your hands and you didn't do anything with it. So creativity, it's all about engagement. It's all about coming up with new solutions, new answers, better questions. And it's disrupting yourself, because only then when you push yourself, only then when you make yourself a little bit of uncomfortable, right, then you come up with better solutions.
Yeah, and the point is, I mean, I think I started this keynote speech 3 years ago, how to disrupt yourself. And I mean, that was World 2.0. But we're coming close to World 3.0. So nothing is as it used to be. Nothing is normal. So it's not even a question if you have to disrupt yourself. It is when, because you have to do something different. It's not that in 1 or 2 or 5 months' time you go to your work as you always did, or you go to your sport club, or go to a bar. I mean, the world is a different place right now. So that needs adjustments. That needs creativity, and I mean, that needs that you have a different plan to go out there and still be happy. Yeah. There's a lot of people, oh, but the world is going to change, but I see. I mean, look at me, but I take opportunities everywhere now. Yes. So I mean, and so you have to think different. You have to get out of your old me and be ready for the world 3.0.
The thing is, the world's always been changing. It's not like it's only now that it's been changing, right? It's always changing. It's always evolving, always different. But now you're forced to change with it, right? That's the problem now, because now everybody's like, oh, this and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Even this morning, someone wanted to start a talk show. It's like, oh, but I need. Then they tell me, it's like, oh, but I need a studio, and I need the cameras, and I need the lighting. It's like, here's what you need. You need your phone, right? And you need someone to interview. That's what you need, right? It's like, oh, but I don't have all this money. It's like, do you have a phone? Yes. Do you have a couch? Yeah. Start now, right? Then you start small, and then you grow big. But if you're going to wait for everything to be ready, for everything to be right, it's never going to happen.
That is the biggest, I mean, what you hear the most. Well, I'll first do this, and then I'm really going to be creative. And so maybe next week, because I've got this project on Friday, But next week I'll eat, and suddenly it's 35 years later. You said, oh, I wish I would
I
have done
wish this and I wish I had
so.
this. It's like,
Please make mistakes. And okay, maybe, I don't know how long this interview is going on, but try to have fun if you make mistakes. And you have to promise yourself that. That it's also disruptive, but forget the word, forget that I said that. But promise yourself that if you do something wrong, just smile about it. Because then suddenly this negative feeling you turn in, your whole face is like, if you do this, you'll feel happy. You cannot help it. You will feel happy if you do this. You cannot be angry if you do this. So use this stupid smile
right.
to different energy, and then say, oh, I totally blew it. Oh my God, I'm going to do it again. And I maybe do it better. Because that's the way you will get better. Otherwise, it will take another week or month or year before you start something. So
Absolutely.
enjoy the mistakes.
Yeah, and enjoy your mistakes and enjoy the moment, right?
Absolutely.
Even the bad ones, because those moments will never come again. And
sometimes they're lovely.
And the thing is, right, so the brain can't tell, there's a study done on this somewhere, I'll find it and put it up, that the brain can't tell the difference between a fake laugh and a real laugh, right? So it releases natural endorphins anyway. So when you are stuck with something, you laugh about it because your brain can't tell the difference, and you might just be surprised at what you can come up with when you turn the negative into a positive, just on a stupid thing, right? Own up to the mistakes. Just say, look, I made a mistake. I'm going to laugh about this, right? It was a stupid thing, right? Then move on and move better and move up.
Absolutely. Because sometimes, we don't have to go into like, it doesn't help if you're angry, but it is true. I mean, for a small example, yesterday, I'm working on a new online course now, and I've got two URLs, a Dutch one and a global one. And I made, I think, 85 cartoons on Photoshop with text in it, etc. And when I finished, I saw I used the wrong URL. So I had to
shame, man.
And the global said, oh, and that was 3 hours of work. And you know what I did? I just laughed. I just took a cup of coffee and said, that's going to cost me another 3 hours. And then, because I knew I had to do it. So I said to myself, you better laugh about it. And one coffee and directly started, and I finished it off in 2 hours because I had a sort of rhythm in it, and bam, bam, bam. And okay, instead of 3 hours, I was on for 5 hours. But some people get angry and they I'm going to stop with it, and the whole project is gone because you made one mistake. Well, okay, well, laugh about the mistake, go on.
But you said, that it doesn't help to complain about it. It's like, that's true, but it might make you feel just a little bit better, but you need to move past it, right? So I love to complain. I tell people this all the time. I love to complain, right? I love complaining, but I will do something about it.
I mean, that's the point. If you get energy out of complaining, I mean, you could also run into your garden and take a bottle and throw it to the wall. If you feel happy about it, please do it. I mean, clean it up if you have children, I would say.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm not saying what to do as long as you have a sort of positive energy in doing it. Yeah. So don't sit on the couch and turn on Netflix and I'm going to stop with this whole Photoshop project. No, that's not going to work. Just do something what's good for you. A bucket of cold water, shout to your neighbor. Wait, I don't care. But as long as a lot of people get positive energy out of it.
So if you made a mistake, it cost you 3 hours, which is a lot, right? You go have a cup of coffee. So it's like, I can't believe I just spent 3 hours doing this and it didn't work, right? Okay, back to work, right? You complain about it, you got it out of your system, but then you need to get back to work, right? It's not going to solve itself.
Even after 3 hours, I had a feeling, okay, this job is done. But after the 5 hours, I was proud of myself that I dealt with the situation and I still was finished. So the strange thing is, after 5 hours, I had a better feeling than after 3 hours because it adds up. I said, oh man, I said to myself, I'm so glad that you took pace and that you go back to your computer and did it. No eating, just one cup of coffee, bam, 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 80 cartoons ready. And then I said, wow, I'm so glad I did this. But I didn't have that feeling after 3 hours. So you can also gain from your mistakes. I mean,
Yeah.
that's disruptive or not.
And so you had a little bit of a disruption, right? But you moved on. You moved past it. And you learned from all that work, that 3 hours. It probably didn't take you another 3 hours to do these cartoons again, right?
Absolutely.
Because you knew now you had that experience already.
Yeah, yeah. And I even felt better. I mean,
Yeah.
that was what surprised me. You know, I thought, okay, I would be tired after those 5 hours. And no, I was ready. The last cartoon, I actually did it. You know, I was really happy about it. And I didn't get that feeling after when I just finished the first job.
Yeah.
So that learned me that you can even gain from your mistakes, not even because the project is finished or the product is better or your service is better, but you will feel better because you've just made up your mistake.
Yeah.
So it's sort of win-win situation because you made a mistake. I mean, I like that idea.
So you've recently launched an online course for speaker training.
Yeah.
It's called speakertraining.online, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, I mean, there are a lot of courses out there, but that doesn't have to stop you to make it. Because I first thought of, it's gotta look beautiful, and it's gotta be a sort of process that it's a sort of learning management system. So you finish the lesson and you just click to the next lesson. But some lessons are very short, and it's not like, oh, there's no content. No, it's just, I'm also a stand-up comedian, so I like to talk in one-liner. So if you get one good one-liner that teaches something, you could go on to the next lesson. And therefore, you have the feeling that there is a sort of pace. There's some speed in finishing this course. And that's what I thought about when I set it up, that you have to have fun doing a speaker course. Because a lot of people don't like public speaking. So that's why I set it up. With all the 26 years of experience that I had, that everything can go wrong, and that's in the course. So also about microphone technique, also about the wrong announcement, also about, I mean, anything you can possibly say about public speaking, that is in that course. So yeah, I just launched it last Friday. So thank you for mentioning it. I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, I've had a look at it. I'm a proud member of speakertraining.online. Thank you very much. And I love it. Because like you said, right, there's so many courses out there already. But here's the thing. No one says your message your way.
Yeah.
No, there's no other Tom Lightning, right? There's no one else like you. No one else can say your things you can. No one else your experience. So it shouldn't stop you from building an online course. It doesn't have to be perfect right from the start, but you do need to start.
Absolutely.
Although I really like it though. It's got nice videos and you really put a lot of work on it, and it's pretty brilliant. So there is a link on the description now. It's in the description here. I'll put it up on the screen now. And
every first lesson is free, so people just can have a look.
And please have a look. And you know what? You don't have to always like it, right? But if you want to know more, sign up for the course. It's really not that much, and you gain a lot from it. I've just been browsing through it, and I've already learned a lot, right, about microphone technique, about stage presence, all kinds of stuff, right, that's in there. So please do have a look at it. It's pretty brilliant.
Thank you.
But 26 years, right? That's a long time to be in this game, right?
Yeah.
But have you always done speaker training, or is this only really a recent development?
Oh, actually, I've been a stand-up comedian also for 26 years. Oh. That's how I started, and because I studied economics and I have a business background. Well, maybe after a couple of months when I was a stand-up comedian, and that was when the stand-up comedy scene just started in the Netherlands. I mean, it's actually 26 years old, to be quite honest. But some companies came to me and said, oh, I had such a fun night with you last night. We have this business meeting in 2 weeks. Can you come to our meeting? I said, okay. So this was a whole new business opportunity. And for me, I thought, well, this actually suits me because now I'm on the other side. I've been a consultant for 2 years, wearing a suit, big car, and driving everywhere to sell big projects. And I'm on the other side and telling them what to do and making fun of them. So this is marketing. It's pretty cool for me. And that's how I ended up in the keynote speaking, because that's a bit the Champions League of the speaking world, for the international way of doing it, and the stages and the people who are in the audience. So, I mean, that's how, I mean, I've had more than 4,500 performances, but that's because I did a lot of stand-up comedy and a lot of company gigs and keynotes. So if you add it up, you come to that crazy number.
But it's that willingness to say yes to new opportunities, right? Even if you know it's like, oh, I'm not really that sort of person, or I'm not really that, I'm not really a professional speaker, I'm a stand-up comedian, right? So that is a different thing. But that willingness to say, yes, I'll do it, right? Even if you're not 100% sure, I think that takes you a lot further than just saying, I'm just going to stick with what I know. And a lot of people are that like, I only want to work on my strengths. I don't want to know anything more. And I think that's a missed opportunity, because if you say yes to more things, you might find out that you're better at a lot more than you thought you were.
Well, you know, I've got one remark on that. I mean, it is okay to say I don't want to learn anymore, or I don't want to be better. I mean, it's okay, but be not surprised that a lot of people are doing it. So in 1 or 2 or